Okay. So, book 2, chapter 1 of the constellation. Talk about fortune. How fortune is not the same thing as luck, right? Credo fors et sors sunt quasi eodem. Mihi videmus apud amicus noster Forcellinus. Fors et sors. Yeah, fors venit fortuna venit a fors, et sors est ut alie, non è? Alie, avel alia, non è? The dice, right? Alie, alia jacta est. Ita fors yes. Fors et sors, sic. Uius nominis cum fortuna conjugatur currit tantum nominativus, salutivus, fors et forte. Forte est ut dicimus Anglice by chance, or maybe quoque dicimus Latine fortaste, maybe quia venita fors. Fors afferendo, est aliud verbum quod venita fere, non è? Fere, fortuna, fors, felix, felis, et omnia. Fors venita fortuna, sors. Fors afferendo, quia fors est pro ut res pert. Ut ait vos. Quocum abstracte tantum occurrit et est casus extemporalis. Casus extemporalis is like an unusual case. Okay. Fortuna, caso. No. Fortuna et sors. Est fors. Ita. Sunt qui dicunt fortuna et sors conjuncta est fors. Portate. Nescio. Postea sors dicimus. There's on Good Friday there's that there is something we sing about the sortem provestimenta mea jactabant sortem or something like this. They threw dice for my Ita.
Oh, we sing that too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But in whatever language you sing it in, right?
English.
Oh, you do sing in English. I forget this all
Yeah.
the time. I always think that it's some kind of Slavonic language or something, but no. Okay. So sortis ad formam quod. It looks like it's got to be somewhere over here, though. No, it is. Sors. Formam quod. I don't see. Sectum casum deardum. Cui provincia Sicilia. Origo vocis incerta. Est incerta. Sunt qui dicunt a Greco horos quod est finis, ali derivant a sanscritos var, quod est libro, pendo, alia acero ut afero fors. Quidem voces, sors et fors. It nemo sit. No one knows. Bene. Ita. Ita dicit, cuius in naturam mors ac meritum remiscare, nec abuisse in te, in ea pulchrum aliquid nec amississe cognoscere. Bene. Nos omnes habemus fortunam, et nos omnes quoque naturam habemus. Et hoc est argumentum simplificatum, possumus dicere, uius libri, uius operis, quia fortuna nos aliquid, nobis aliquid dat. Nobis aliquid dat. Fortuna nostra, exempli gratiae, est pecuniam. Pecunia. Et aliquando dicuntur, dicitur, pecunia dicitur, fortuna. Est fortuna mea. Fortuna mea est pecunia. Aut ego fortunam meam augere volo. Augere volo fortunam meam. I want to increase my fortune, right? Significat volo facere pecuniam. Volo abere plus pecuniae. I want to have more money, right? We're in the money. We're in the money. Lots and lots of money, honey, right? Volumus plus pecuniae. Quia volumus fortunam nostram, sed fortuna nobis pecuniam dat. Fortuna nobis pecuniam dat. Fortuna est ut persona quae bonum tibi non putat. Non cogitat de bonis tuis. Non cogitat, non est occupata de bona tua, de bonis tuis. Non est preoccupata. Non est fortune quidquam si tu omnino desertus est. Non est fortune quidquam. It doesn't matter to fortune if you're completely deserted. Okay. Sed natura est alia. Nature est ut mater. Est ut mater tua. Quod hoc ex vocabulo ipso. E vocabulo ipso est videndum. Quia natura est unde natus est. Est unde natus est. Ita est natura tua. Est ut mater tua. Quo modo possumus scire naturam patrici? Quia mater eius est mulier. Natus est patricius a muliere. Aquadam muliere. This is so beautiful, right? That the womb of a woman is a sacred place because it is the place where humanity is created and where God uh, creates the human soul, right? And then fixes it in that human person, right? Such a beautiful, beautiful thing to think about, right? And then also that has tremendous implications for each one of us, right? But the word nature for Boethius is not separable from where you're born, right? So, um, as Americans, our identities are very complex. You know, Europeans always recognize this very quickly. They're like, so you look like you're from, you know, like they always tell me, they say, you look like you're from Northern England. And they tell my wife, you look like you're from somewhere in Ireland or someplace. And, and, uh, and sure enough, you know, you always are going to look like you're from someplace or some other place, right? Um, if I were to say, I don't know, Hannah Hibbard, I would say you look like you're from someplace in Germany. I would say like
Yeah.
somewhere. I would say somewhere in the Palatinate or someplace over there, right? Somewhere over there. And same with Patrick Miller. I'd say, you know, probably someplace over, you know, Bavaria, Tirol, Austria, someplace over there, you know.
Yeah.
You can just imagine Patrick wearing lederhosen, you know, have one of those big long horns, doing a what do you call it? The commercial, the Ricola, you know,
Yeah.
right? So you know, you look like you're from some specific place, and uh, and so I'm always telling my children about as much as I know about our heritage, right? Because you know it's important. It's important because it's part of your identity, right? And then you come here and then you know there's like ordinary people know their heritage like that, you know. Like the guy that I met in town the other day, and he knows that his family has lived in the same neighborhood in this little Borgo, you know, from forever.
Mm.
You know, he doesn't know like when they first got here. So because family name is there since who knows when, right? And he's not a nobleman either. It's just you know this is his town. And even though when because he was a policeman, they sent him to Florence and sent him all over the place, you know. But his whole goal in his career was to come back to this place, right? And it's not like he's got a great last name either. It sounds like, you know, tree planter or something, you know. So anyway, um, so that's very important. And I was following this thing about the Trump's vice president pick, JD Vance, and how he's from Eastern Kentucky, and that's where my grandfather's family came from. And so it turns out that they're from very close, from very towns very close to each other. Actually, not towns. My grandfather didn't come from a town, but from places that are pretty close. Hollers. Their hollers are close to each other. And then there's this woman that was coming on and saying, well, actually, the Scots Irish influence in Kentucky is an absolute myth. Never happened, didn't exist. The Scots Irish as a people didn't exist. No, excuse me. See what you're trying to do there. You're trying to take away identity. You have no heritage, you have no culture, you have no origins. You're just nothing, right? And that's part of American society is you don't come from anywhere. You have no origins, you have no identity. Just be one of the rest. Anyway, that really gets me angry, you know, because I feel like that's generally the Um, the uh, the thing that they're trying to tell us is that you have no origins, you have no identity. So just, make your widgets and shut up, you know? And and this is interesting because not even the Romans would want to do that except for their slaves.
Mm.
They would have done that to their slaves, but not to the common citizen. The common citizen, they want to make sure you have an identity. For the slaves, yeah, take away their identity. They're nobody. Brand them on the head, right? On their foreheads. Put the brand right on their foreheads, right? Put the chips right in their arms. Same thing. It's the same thing. And yeah, because a slave, and even Aristotle talks about this, right? That the slave, it doesn't matter who is, it's like an animal. You know, you can buy, sell, trade, whatever. But for the citizen, right? Even for the commoner, right? You have an identity. You have, like this guy, total commoner, and all of his ancestors, commoners, and yet he knows where he's from, right? And that must be very comforting, right? Because there's got to be some kind of generational memory for him too. Think about it. His He lives above the plaza that every one of his ancestors has seen, had seen, like for over 1,000 years. That's got to be an impressive thing for someone's psychology, right? Do you think that guy is willing to die for his? Yeah, totally. Not that you should look it up, but you should look up if you get a chance and with parental observation, look up soccer in Florence, Florentine soccer. It's basically like a mixture of mixed martial arts and football, rugby, a street fight. Yeah, all together. There is a medieval I think he was like one of the emperor. I think it was the emperor. I think it was the Emperor Maximilian
Mm.
who went through Florence and he saw this happening, and he said it's uh it's too brutal to be called a game, and it's too small to be called a war, a battle. And they still do it to this day. So where you're from is important, and don't let anybody tell you different. All right, because naturam doesn't change, fortunam does. So your fortune changes, but your nature doesn't change. This is also the reason why, for people in the Middle Ages, or even up until 200 years ago or 100 years ago, what's the most important thing for you to do? Get married, have children, or become a nun or a priest or whatever. But if you're a nun or a priest, to some degree, you're already dead, right? Because you're dead to the world, right? So, um, so for the to go and have children. Once you have children, then then you can go and die, right? You can go and fight in a battle. You can go and whatever, you know. That book that we were reading, the After Virtue book, he talks about how in the Middle Ages, the more friends you had, the more likely you were to die a violent death, right? Because if you have a friend, that means you have to defend him. And so if somebody ends up getting into some tough straits, then you have to defend them. So so people would tend to have fewer but closer friends, right? And also, your kin, right? So you have your kin, and then you have like the alliances to other people, and that would eventually be solidified in marriage and all these things, and then they would be your kin as well. Okay, so nature does not change, but fortune changes. And so you depend on nature, you don't depend on fortune, right? Depend on nature, you don't depend on fortune. And think about it on an economic level, on a political level, on so many different levels, right? Uh, this 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 dependence on nature, in other words, dependence on where you were born from, right, is extremely important, right? Okay, so, and this is really neat, isn't it? Because then you can see why philosophy, she says, your nice library, right? The fact that you were a consul, all these things aren't important, right? Um, but then, your father-in-law, he's important, right? Um, your children, they're important. Your wife, she's important, right? That's nature. Those are all natural things. But your fortune, no, no, because you can't depend on it. Okay. So let's see here. Solevas enim presentem quoque blandian temque virilibus incessere verbis, eamque de nostro adito prolatis insectabare sententiis. Verum omnis subita mutatio rerum non sine quodam quasi flucto contingit animorum. Sorry, there's a mosquito. Sic factum est, ut tu quoque paulispera tua tranquillitate descisceres. Sed tempus est aurire te aliquid ac degustare mole aquae iucundum quod ad interiore transmissum validioribus auscibus viam fecerit. Ad sit igitur rhetorice suadella dulcedinis, quae tum tantum recto cale procedit, cum nostra instituta non deserit cumque ac musa laris nostri vernacula nunc leviores nunc graviores modos succinant. Bene. Omnes musae sunt ejecte um, carcere poetii, omnes sunt ejecte, sed rhetorica et musica non sunt ejecte e carcere eius. Non è? Let us dicit, ad sit igitur suadella dulcedinis rhetorice. Suadella est aliquid quod persuadit. Et rhetorica est suadella, sed musica est ut lars. Ut lars. Possimus in speech hoc vocabulum. Yeah. Potestis audire turture, exunt turture. Est avis, que abellatur turtura. Est in carmine, ille. Quoque in evangelio. Turtle doves sunt turture. Purtas est larus. No. Aut laris. No. Diciamus. Yeah. Est vocabulum non frequente. Laros. No. Laris. Lares. Hic, sed ac musica laris nostri vernacula. Hic. Est hoc. Laris.
It's hot. It's perch.
Laris.
Okay. Thank you.
Ego scripsi Lars. Ed est lar. Lar. Non est hic. Sed est hoc vocabulum quod refert um, di domus. Hic, non est laqueus. Lardum. Nihil est. Lares. Est revera vocabulum mirum. Lares, larum, semper est plurale numero. Et hic utitur Boetius singulare numero. Hic. Focus peculiariter sacer erat. Et praeter apud ditiore sacrarium abebant. ita, sed quasi causa Boetius appellat musicam lares. Hoc est aliquis momenti. Why do you think that Boethius calls music the lares? Right? Obviously, lares, the lares and the penates, right? The gods of the hearth, right? So why is he calling it? Why is he calling music the goddess of the hearth? And why is music allowed when the muses are not allowed? The other muses, just rhetoric and music, which we've already seen that music is here because there are all the I mean that's the prose are the rhetoric and the verses are music, right?
Mhm.
And so I think maybe you could say that this must be because uh Lord of the Rings analogy. Sam is at the top of the tower in
Thank you.
in what's the name of that tower? At the top of the Morgul Vale that after
Oh,
Shelob. What's it called? What's the tower after Shelob called? That one.
it's not Minas Morgul.
No, it's the
Yeah, I know what you mean.
yeah. And Sam's at the top of the tower. He can't find Frodo.
Hmm.
He knows that the orcs are coming. And so what does he start to do? Start to sing.
Hmm.
And then Frodo sings back to him. And Frodo thought it was a dream, right? And I think this is a good example, right? Another idea from Chesterton. The Christian is the man who goes singing gaily through the dark, right? So even though we're surrounded by incertitude and um, and um, you know terrors and all these different things, um, we can still sing, right? We can still um, relieve our spirits with music, right? And this is why um, this is why philosophy allows for these two muses of rhetoric and music to stay with him. Because then the rhetoric, what's the purpose of rhetoric according to Aristotle? I think you both took the rhetoric course, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
No, I haven't.
You haven't taken it yet?
No.
The good one. The good one. I feel like every time I
Nice.
teach it, I get better at it. So but yeah, so what is the purpose of rhetoric? The purpose of rhetoric, according to Aristotle, is to present the truth. So it's just the means of presenting the truth in the best way. And that's why you have figures of speech, right?
Hmm.
Now, in modern philosophy, which is not even philosophy, right? Modern philosophy is not philosophy. We talked about that already, right? Um, because it's, there's no causality, and so philosophy is understanding causes and all this kind of thing, right? Wisdom is understanding causes. Philosophy is loving wisdom. Modern philosophers uh, believe there's no causality to things. So at least there's no final causality. Therefore, they're not philosophers. All right. So in modern philosophy, especially from Immanuel Kant onward, uh, there is no such thing ultimately as reality. If there is reality, okay, so probably there is reality, according to Kant, but you can't know it. Okay, so what can you know? You can only know your version of reality. Your truth, Hannah. Believe your truth. Okay. All right. That's all you can actually know. Right. So, so what do you have then? All you have is the ability for everyone to agree on something. For your truth to be my truth, and for my truth to be Patrick's truth, and then we're, operating within the same ideology. But can you leave your ideology? You can leave your ideology, but you have to go to another ideology. So there's no such thing as being outside of an ideology. Right. And that's why, somebody will say, oh, you have Roman Catholic ideology, or you have Greek Orthodox ideology, or Russian Orthodox, or Ukrainian, or I don't remember which one. Which one you
I'm
guys are?
OCA. I'm American.
You're American
There's
Orthodox.
yeah.
Ah, okay. Yeah. All right. So
Well,
American
yeah.
Orthodox,
Yeah.
whatever you are, right? But where did it come from? Did it come from?
It came from Moscow, yeah. But we're autocephalous.
I
Yeah.
gotcha. He still used Greek words, so.
Well, yeah.
Autocephalous. All right. So that's your ideology. Well, no, it's not necessarily an ideology. It doesn't have to be an ideology. You don't have to have an ideology, right? Because you don't have to believe in the modern world idea that if people are in agreement, then they share an ideology, or the only thing that is possible is consensus, right? That's it's stupid because it's based off the idea that you can't perceive reality, right? So, and then that shows that they can't be philosophers, right? That's another reason, just another way of showing that modern philosophy is not a philosophy. It's just a philosophy. All right. Um, that reality is important, and it's also very interesting because, just put it this way, um, your religious belief, is that linked to your nature, or is it linked to your fortune? Well, I know, brothers and sisters, that if you believe what I'm saying, then you're going to be wealthy. That the Lord God is going to shower you with so many dollar bills as He showered me, and this is why I would jet around the whole United States of America in my new Learjet. No, this is why the prosperity gospel is so evil.
Yeah.
Because it's saying that your fortune and first of all, it's saying that your religion is fortune. That's what it is. It is the religion of fortune. And the Romans would have recognized it. The Greeks would have recognized, oh, so you worship fortune. That makes sense. No, I worship the Lord Jesus Christ. No, you don't. No, you worship fortune. Right. So this is a very important thing to understand, I think, because in order to be a philosopher, and in order for philosophy to be able to console you, then you have to recognize, first of all, and this almost goes without saying, but we have to say it. You have to, first of all, believe that reality exists and that you can perceive it. And then that you can perceive the not only the nature of things, of the things that you perceive in reality, but also your own nature, right? And that this is the foundation of philosophy. Very interesting how he uses this term nature as the Romans use it. He's using the term nature in the same way that Cicero uses the term nature. And this is also why Cicero and Boethius become the two most important philosophers of the Middle Ages, right? Because ultimately, St. Augustine was also understanding a lot of ancient thought through Cicero. Obviously, Boethius comes after St. Augustine, right? So, and you could say that those are the three pillars of medieval thought: Cicero, St. Augustine, and Boethius, right? Another reason why the Greeks, look down on the Latins, right? It's like that was the best. Those are the best three you have: Cicero, St. Augustine, and Boethius. No Aristotle, no Plato. Come on, Plutarch, and kind of lacking there. They might not be the best, but they're ours, all right. St. Augustine's kind of hard to beat. All right. All right. So, quid essentitur homo quod te in mestitiam luctumque de iacit novum credo aliquid in usitatumque vidisti, he fortunam putas erga te esse mutatam, eras. I semper eus mores sunt ista natura. Servavit circa te propriam potius in ipsa sui mutabilitate constantiam. Talis erat cum blandiebatur, cum tibi false in lecebris felicitatis alluderet. Deprendisti ceci, numinis ambiguos vultus. Quis esse ad hoc velat alis, tota tibi prorsus innotuit. Innotuit, ocest aliquis momenti quoque. Quia innotare est quoque notam facere in vultu ut servos. Est quasi ut quale dicitur atu Latine est dicendum expecta. Mosquitoes are getting bad out here. Pretty bad. It was so dry and hot, and now it's cooled off just a tad. Okay. Compunctiones. Dicitur. Compunctiones. Well, this is my own personal. I should send this to you guys though. Let me show you. Compunctiones. This is David Morgan's modern Latin dictionary. So you could call them Thracian notes. no. So you can say note Thraciae, right? Apparently, the Thracians used to tattoo themselves. Also, another thing that Thracians did was, which I think Thracians are Bulgarians, more or less, right? Aren't isn't Thracia modern Bulgaria, Macedonia, kind of that area? Pretty sure.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Thracian brands, or you could call them compuncciones because you have to like insert the ink with a needle, or you could call it stigma, or you could say
Mm.
notis compungere, notis persignare. Okay.
Hmm.
So there it is. Tattoos. This is a guy, a great Latinist, American Latinist from who died very young, about 20 years ago. But anyway,
Hmm.
David Morgan. What's his name? Okay. Let's see here. All right, let's look at the first poem, because it's 6 o'clock. See here. Okay. So, ec cum superba vertrit vices dextra, so superba fortuna, vertrit vices, like switch sides, no? Et estuantis more fertur Euripi, dum tremendo steva protrit reges, humidemque victis sublevat phallax vultum. Non illa misros audit aut curat fletus, ultroque gemitus, dura quos fecit, ridet. Sic illa ludit, sic suas probat vires, magnumque sevis monstrat ostentum, siquis visatur una stratus ac felix ora. Et quid est hoc? Hoc est. Hoc est. We have to do it. We have to do it. This is the moment to do it. This is the moment to do. Now you know what I've been listening to. There it is.
Hmm.
Because it is the wheel of fortune. The fortune that wants to destroy you. Right? Can you hear? Can you hear it?
Not yet.
No.
No.
It might in a minute.
Yeah, let's do it again.
There we go.
This song is really a testament to Boethius's influence as well. Because I think we talked about this before, but it's written by renegade monks, related probably to Hannah Hibbert. No, they're from Germany. renegade German monks from the 14th century, right? And they were monks who were sent to the monastery because their fathers didn't want to have to divide their property to them, right? So they're like extra kids, right? So they were made monks, sent to the monastery with a donation, right? But they probably, I mean, they were at least influenced by this idea of fortune from Boethius. Because he's saying the same thing. You're super sweet, and then you're hard, and then you're giving me everything that's nice, and then you're breaking my face, and Now the music is not 14th century, right? The music is 20th century.
No.
Written by Hitler's favorite composer. He was the composer of the Nazi regime, Karl Orff. That love-hate relationship with fascism that the West has. But anyway, all right. So let's leave that here, and we'll start off next time with chapter 2. And that was philosophy, by the way, speaking in the last Carmen. All right. So we'll see you then. All right. Have a great week.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.